Yeah.
Oh, what a start.
What a good start.
Yeah.
And
So this was not the plan.
no.
This was not the plan. This was our plan B. We were having an episode with an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And he turned out to be very interesting.
We can't disclose who it was.
No, we had some technical issues, and hopefully it will be resolved.
Yeah.
And we will shoot it by next week or something.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about that. So now we do the Q&A instead with us.
How's everything going?
Yeah, everything's going good.
Returned from the US.
Returned from the US.
Yeah.
On a vacation. See my girlfriend. It was great.
New York, right?
New York.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place. I was there 15 years ago when I was a teenager.
This is going right?
Yeah. You see.
It's recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I was there 15 years ago and I went back, and one of the things that really changed, there's weed everywhere.
Yeah.
Weed shops, and people are smoking everywhere.
And that's not normal standards for New York?
No, not what I was like. It was crazy. It was literally everywhere. And like the biggest shops with the most people now are weed shops. Looks like a fucking Apple store.
But is it legal?
Yeah, it's legal. You just go in.
It's been legalized in New York?
You can smell it everywhere. From 7 a.m. in the morning when you go into the subway.
Wow.
You go in fucking Times Square. Everywhere. There's just people smoking weed.
You have to be in a coffee shop?
No. Anywhere. You could just take it out and just smoke it.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
No,
I didn't know that.
It was, I did not. And also there was a lot of, I don't want to say crazy people, but drug addicts.
Yeah.
I saw a fucking guy rip his own hair out in the middle of some big street.
There's a big gap from the bottom of the...
I thought he was washing his hair.
Yeah.
He was pulling his own hair out, scratching his own hair out in the middle of the street.
But isn't it's just the worst place to live on Earth, basically?
Yes.
It's just buildings everywhere. You have pollution. You have this squared buildings, office life, people being chronically stressed. That's how I see it from the outside.
Yeah.
I've never been in the US before.
Well, I mean, my girlfriend lived there for 8 years, and I mean, it's a fun place. We did a lot of things. We went to see basketball. We went to see NBA. We went to see shows and went out to eat. There's a lot of good restaurants. There's a lot of good things to do. And
did you say hello to Porzingis?
No,
come on.
No, I was way up in the fucking. that was a long way down to Porzingis where I was. Okay. But it was. I don't think it's a good place to live.
No.
I don't want to live there for sure, and it's expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
It's.
I know Jack Cruz hates it.
Yeah.
Hates it like hell.
Yeah. No, I mean I get it. It's not.
You're not supposed to live there.
The room my girlfriend had, there wasn't even any sunlight in it. There's no sunlight in it. You don't know what time of day it is.
That's fucking
Imagine.
Terrible. Yeah.
And I mean, of course it's okay, but living there long term, I think that's also,
Is it mainly apartments, or are there?
There are houses, but you gotta be hella rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's expensive.
Even the apartments are insanely expensive for something that would be normal here.
Then how can there be such an abundance of drug addicts and poor people?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Maybe there's a big gap between the poor and the rich. There's no...
Oh, for sure there must be, but it's also, I was thinking the same, like where the hell do they live?
Yeah.
I think they basically live on the street. They must live, or shelters or something like that. But, that was the two biggest things. It was not that dangerous, I feel like. You don't really feel like people trying to, attack you or something like that and come and take your money. Maybe it's because no one has money anymore, because everything is on a phone. I don't know, but you'd be scared of the drug addicts because they're there.
So you're glad for being home again.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I got back into my routine now with
Yeah.
ice baths and all that stuff, and you just feel different. It feel like almost like going to Roskilde Festival, because it just feels like your
Like
body
being home or being there?
coming home. Coming home from it.
Coming home from it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You come like you got a fucking detox in a way.
Did you listen to the Elon Musk episode?
With Joe Rogan?
Yeah, did I send it to you? I don't remember.
No, I haven't had time to listen to it yet, but I've listened to bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
Guy's interesting.
He's hilarious. He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But I can't. I have a difficulties finding out what type of guy he is.
Yeah, me too, because
There's so many people hating on him.
there is.
But again, he just seems like a silly guy.
He seems fun, and he seems really smart, but at the same time, I'm like, because I know, for instance, that he does, Novo Nordisk drug, Wegovy, or Ozempic.
What's
He takes
it?
that. It's
What's-
basically semaglutide, where you take it in. It's a spin-off of a diabetes drug, so you lose weight. But
Why would you do that?
yeah, it's like a quick fix.
Yeah, why don't just go for a run?
You-
Eat some healthy foods?
Especially now when they found out there are some side effects to it, which is
stupid.
suicidal thoughts.
Really? Thoughts?
Like you get suicidal after,
Wow.
or some people get suicidal 3 days after using it. Kind of like a fucking party drug or something like that. I don't know, man, but
Yeah.
he uses that, which then makes me kind of wonder, like, okay, you're smart, but you're not smart enough to understand your own
yeah.
health in a way, or like crack that code.
In some instances, he doesn't seem that smart either.
Like,
And I don't know why, but he has this tendency of thinking for 10 seconds before he answers. If you just listen to the episodes,
Yeah.
it's so awkward. It's just complete silence for like 10 seconds,
Yeah,
and then he answers.
yeah. He don't want to say. He really.
Yeah, maybe it's because he don't want to say something stupid, but again, he says something stupid
But
every time he speaks.
it's interesting because this guy literally remembers, I think, everything he ever read.
Yeah?
It's insane because I heard him talk about like war history. He knows all wars that has ever gone. Like the guy just remembers everything that he's read, which has also makes sense that he's so good at physics and so good at economy and so good at, because you have to do all of those things: engineering, design. Running a company, you have to know a lot of things.
But how is he capable of that?
I think it's because
He has like 3 major companies, right? SpaceX, Tesla, and
Solar. Solar City, and
Okay.
he also helped start OpenAI, which is basically ChatGPT. He was the founder of
he
that.
participated in that.
He was the founder of that.
Whoa.
Yeah, because he wanted to make an open system, or an open, open source. He wanted the stuff to be open so everyone could have it instead of one company or one country.
But he's an opponent of AI.
Yeah.
Or at least he's afraid that it gets out of control. So that's a bit contradictory, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think he's opposed to one person or a few people having it,
Having control of it.
because that's when it gets, or it being developed in a negative direction, which is more likely if, I don't know, but I think that's what he's doing it for. And let's not forget Neuralink. That shit is scary.
That shit is scary. It's a bit sketchy.
That's the beginning.
Yeah.
And they started human trials now.
Yeah.
Human trials.
Never on earth I would have a microchip in my brain or whatever that is.
No, but imagine though, some people will have it, and if it works,
Yeah, for sure.
they become God.
Yeah, they do.
Like if they're the first people that said, "Fuck it, I'll do it," and it just
Then
it's
they
just
have a computer
perfect.
in their brain, yeah. And again, that's why I don't know who is he? Is he the good guy saving the planet? Is he the reptile eating us? I don't know.
I think it's a difficult question because
I just know he's fucking funny.
he's funny and he does the things. I mean, I think he's fundamentally a good person. I think I mean, I don't think he's lying on television or it's not like a fucking, Bill Clinton or,
No.
some
No.
where he just puts up a face and then you don't know who he is in private.
Yeah.
I think he's literally
It's very authentic.
driven to save or like enhance humanity, like he enhances a robot, or like he enhances a car, or like he enhances, you know, how we put in things on a computer, or how he enhances energy, whatever. I think he just thinks in terms of how to make stuff better, and I think he's so good at it that you can't deny it. That's why he can go out and tweet and say, you know, something. What was the thing when he held up the sign and he said something like,
I don't know,
Tesla's stock is going down by something, and everyone was shitting themselves. But in reality, it was just a joke, you know?
Yeah, and he doesn't give a fuck.
He don't give a shit.
No, it's hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, that Neuralink, it's crazy. We're on that. How to say? We're really on the verge of AI now.
For sure, we rely on AI almost.
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT every day now.
Yeah.
I wish I had it back when I went to school.
Yeah.
Must have been an amazing support. But also it's a bit scary, right? Because it can really replace everything you do. And how can the teachers make sure whether it's an AI written essay or a human written essay? You know?
Man, it just takes the emphasis away from writing shit.
From
Because
writing, yeah.
who the fucks wanna read something now? Do you wanna go and read the newspaper if it's a fucking robot who wrote it?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't care about stuff that a robot wrote. You know,
But
it
I
takes
guess-
away all the fun.
Yeah, but I
In a
guess
way.
that's where we're heading until we figure out that's not the way to go. And then we'll see if it's too late.
Yeah, the interesting thing is the tools you can use it for, though.
Yeah, because it can be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean,
be
if
very beneficial.
you use it in the right way and you ask the right questions, something like just ChatGPT itself is, I mean, it's insanely useful. I mean, of course, you can use it to write an essay about fucking something interesting, but other than that, you can have it, you know, make an Excel sheet where you take all the country's GDPs and match it up against the fertility rate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
think about the stock market in 10 years. You know, and because that shit takes it, when it gets out in real time and it can just take information like that, it's going to destroy so many jobs. Not destroy, but there's going to be people that will use it in such smart ways that...
Hopefully it will create new jobs.
Yeah, but what kind of jobs? So it would be more like... Yeah, that's a difficult one. What jobs would be there?
I don't even know. Man.
It would be more creative jobs, I think.
Yeah.
I think there'll be more focus on people being able to create and being able to almost entertain.
And hopefully that's where we're going. But again, we'll see. I don't know.
Because that's the good life, but...
But again, it's just sit back and hold on because we can't do nothing about it.
And that leads back to why it is so important to live that holistic lifestyle.
Back to nature.
Because if you can combine those two things, if you can have a routine where you incorporate all those things with the people we've talked with, and you use ChatGPT as a tool, you become a fucking Superman. You'll be the person that is able to use them because you become creative. You know what I mean? This is why I do it, because there's more and more focus on you enhancing your own creativity and your own skills in all directions. And if you focus on working 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day in a repetitive job, you're fucked. You have to constantly try to enhance yourself, be more creative. Then you'll be, then you will know how to use these. Because even programmers are going to be out of a job. You just say,
For sure. They're the first to go.
Yeah. Make an app that makes my house smart.
Yeah.
10 years from now, that's going to be, what do you want? When do you want the curtains to roll down? You don't have to program that. You have to tell it to fucking Siri. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. It's about getting back to nature. It has all the answers.
Yeah, it is in a way.
But again, not going too off-grid, like you say. Being the right lane between technology and between nature. Utilize technology when you can, but don't become addicted to it, right?
Yeah, and also I was thinking today, I've been looking up lately I was just thinking how outdated, normal keyboards are.
Yeah.
So I was looking up alternatives ways, and there are these kind of one-hand thing where you can basically sit here and just like you're playing piano. Like you have different...
Is that a new version?
Yeah, it's a new thing that came out. But think about that combined with virtual reality. Where you don't have to sit like this in front of a keyboard. You can stand up, you can move, and you can move your hands to create numbers and things while you're looking in a 3D world.
It becomes more automated.
Combine that with a good routine and going back to nature so that whenever you work, you get 20 times as much work done, 20 times better with this, and then the rest of the time you spend,
What is that? Is that a new high-tech keyboard or what?
Yeah,
new invention?
It's just an invention where you basically have, I don't know if it's that new. I think it's 5 years old, but it hasn't like, no one else is really using it yet. I haven't seen it yet. I was just looking on YouTube because I'm like, I want that. But it's basically where you put it on each finger or you put it around your wrist.
Oh, so it's not a keyboard per se.
No.
You have it on your fingers.
Yeah, then you can sit like this. For instance, an A or something would be like that. And E. So the most used letters or numbers would be
on your fingertips.
The most easy combinations. And then something like this, for instance. These two together. Like like you play piano, you also you do the same. So and it's once you learn it, I think it's probably easier and faster to do it that way. Plus, you don't have to sit and wait until you're in front of a keyboard to ask. And this movement is not the fastest.
No.
This can be enhanced a lot of times. So I was thinking, what about that? And you combine it with a VR. Because the VR is also getting better. So that's the tech.
But I'm not too into that stuff, man.
No, me neither.
I don't think it's the right way to go. Especially not the VR.
Yeah, the VR, it's I was thinking too, but still.
That's the gateway out of this universe.
Yeah, but what if the VR, think about it. You want to make a new product, you want to make a new grounding mat, or you want to make something new. You can draw it on a piece of paper and think, okay, here it has to be 2 centimeters there. Or you can go into VR and you could do like this, go around it, turn it around, go all the way in quick. You could make
for
things.
Offline purposes, fine. Fine.
Yeah.
But like creating this online space where people can interact with each other, that is creating a new universe, and you can basically create paradise. You can easily as this, create a world that's more fun to live in than this one.
And with the addictiveness of people, with people's tendencies to be, this is why what we do. When you take an ice bath, you're basically doing the opposite. You're forcing yourself to do something that you don't want instead of going towards something that your body drags you towards. You're saying no to that, and you're doing something when you go early to bed, and when you wake up early and you do something and you take a run. That's not something that you want right now. It's something that's going to help you not get addicted. If you have that mentality and you use it, doesn't matter if it's your phone. It's the same thing.
I agree. But how many people has that mentality? How many people are coped for that kind of world to live in? Not many.
Yeah,
not many.
We even have that problem. I have that problem. Sometimes I go on my phone and I end up looking at a YouTube and I'm like, why the fuck did I even pick up my phone?
For sure. But then you get aware of it and you say, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that, and you throw it away.
Yeah.
That awareness is key, and not many people have that awareness. They just get stuck or sucked into this alternative reality. And then they just hypnotized into being there.
Yeah.
So awareness is key.
And I think that's true to what you say. It's dangerous because it kind of goes a little bit back to what Varun was saying. It's also with being hypnotized.
Yeah.
All commercials and all advertisements is made to make you hypnotize you in a bit so that you end up buying something and consuming something, which then makes you addicted, and if you're aware of that, if you're aware of these things are trying to affect you, then you'll be able to say no.
Yeah.
But it's a constant struggle, I think. And I think it's going to be, of course we can say no to VR, but the next thing is not going to be Instagram on a phone.
Yeah.
The next thing is going to be Instagram on VR. So if you're not in that, how are you going to make money, How are you going to survive?
Yeah, for sure.
You have to, in a way.
You have to.
And you have to be one of the first to do it.
Yeah.
And know about it. And how does this keyboard work? And how about Neuralink? And how about VR? And how about, bro, think about sports in the future. I've seen they're developing right now omnidirectional treadmills for VR.
What? Oh,
That is
okay, yeah.
That is, you put on the VR, and no matter where you run,
Yeah, then it follows along.
it follows along. Like, so you can run full speed and stop.
Have you seen Ready Player One?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. That is basically where they are tied up to something, and they are on this omniboard, or what you call it. Yeah,
kind of.
and then they can basically do everything, and they stay in place, right?
Yeah. So those are already being built. Like, of course they're not commercially ready yet. But think about a sport where you don't it's still about being physically the best. You know, it's still about being in good shape. It's still about doing something spectacular with your body, but you're doing it in a universe that is different. That's not just a plain field with a ball, you know?
Yeah.
That gets interesting.
I'm off.
Yeah, I'm
off.
But again, will you be? Because if you're not on, then you have to somehow interact with it.
You just have to be able to control it.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true, but it's going to be interesting where it goes. Because that's still where everything is going to be, you know, like in a way you have to kind of know what it is. But yeah, being able to control it is probably going to be key.
It is.
So
are we going for our Q&A?
Yes, people have asked us some questions.
Yeah, so basically we asked people to ask questions, and then we took some of the most common asked questions or frequently asked questions and made an order of it.
Yeah, and I guess most of them are probably for you, since I'm more of an unknown
as what
character. Huh? I feel like most of these will be for you. Right?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I think they're for both of us.
Okay, I'll help out if I have any ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, first one, and you start with this one. When and why did your health journey start?
I guess that's for both of us.
Yeah, it was probably the same time.
Yeah. Well, I guess this was like 12 years ago. We sat in my apartment in a small town in Denmark and smoked weed.
A
lot. We did. And at that time I was depressed. I suffered from anxiety.
I remember, actually.
Yeah, it was a bad period.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that led up to that. I had some bad relationships. I had issues in my job. I had a lot of issues. Poor lifestyle. I think it's just the bad habits, relationships and habits that accumulate. And then the universe just tells you,
this is it.
So yeah, and I developed these panic attack and anxiety attacks, and I was sort of like freezed out of myself, and I have to reconsider my life. And I have to reconsider what the fuck I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And it's kind of paradoxical, because this has nothing to do with health, fitness, diet, grounding, whatsoever. But again, it has.
Yeah.
Because I was paralyzed at home for 14 days with my anxiety, and I didn't know what to do with myself.
Paralyzed? You were just...
14 days. I couldn't go out. I couldn't socialize. I couldn't go out in the gym. We didn't see each other for a long period there.
I remember.
I was unable to socialize.
Yeah.
Anxiety can be very paralyzing, especially if you have panic attacks. It's fucking terrible. So back when I was home there, I was alone with my own thoughts and considerations of what to do with my life, what was my problems, or what were my problem based on. And then I stumbled upon the pyramids of Giza, pyramids of Egypt. And then I researched them, and I researched them, and I researched them. And I just found out that the story we've been told about these specific monuments in Giza is incorrect. They're simply incorrect.
Yeah.
And the more I learned about them, the more I learned about other monuments around the earth. The more I learned about the history of the earth.
Graham Hancock.
I learned about him at that period of time. And then something came to my mind that if we are unaware of where we came from, then we have no fucking clue of where we're heading. And I guess I took these experiences with me on to the health and fitness life. And I saw some similarities about our misconceptions about health and the human body. And our inability to assess how the human body functions. So I guess that started my health journey. And at the same time, that was something we began discussing a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were aware of the pyramids before or if we kind of got into it at the same time.
I think actually you might have been the one that sparked my interest into it. But I remember, first of all, I want to say that you were into fitness and stuff before. I remember you did a hell of a handstand. You could just do...
But it was the basic stuff.
Yeah, it was
it was
the motor skills and the fucking go to the gym and...
Counting calories, rice and chicken and all that stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the traditional stuff.
Yeah. I remember that. But I also remember even back then, I remember you told me, and you told us back then, before the anxiety attacks and all that, you wanted to train athletes, but you didn't know how to get there, you know what I mean? But you already had the kind of a vision back then, even though I think that was even before those anxiety attacks, you know what I mean? Because I remember I admired that. I'm like, that's pretty, and I remember I believed that. So you had some sort of idea already back then, but obviously we were not going to reach our goals the way we were living.
We had some barriers, we had poor lifestyle.
Yeah,
we smoked weed and we went partying and did all sorts of stupid stuff that teenagers do. So, but again, it's an interesting wake-up call, because if I never had my panic attacks, I might still be there.
Yeah.
So I firmly believe that the universe gives us these messages, and I believe that we get these small, hints once in a while, and if you don't listen to them, like many people don't do, you just get smashed from behind, like I did with my panic attacks. And it can be everything. It can be a car accident, it could be a death in your family, it can be whatever that makes you step back and say to yourself, maybe I need to reconsider what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah. And oftentimes it also starts with just enjoying life as it is, you know what I mean? Because I remember when I got into this, first of all, the pyramids too. I remember I got home from China and I was, I was finalizing my exam, and this was so fucking boring. So I started doing I started researching everything else than my exam. And I researched the pyramids. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I realized it's made of, 2.3 million stones, and they're from somewhere else. And I'm like, what? How can I be studying some bullshit engineering when that has been built and we still don't know how? And the people that are trying to redo it. And then there's the Easter Island with fucking massive heads, which are 80% buried in the ground on an island. Small island out of somewhere. And there's hundreds and hundreds of them. What the fuck did they come from?
Yeah.
The Nazca lines. Machu Picchu. I'm like, what? Something is up. And that's when life started becoming more interesting to me.
For sure. I agree.
Because I was like, wait. All this shit that you're being told is not completely true. People say they know, but obviously they don't. Because there's so much we don't know if we don't even know this.
Yeah.
So I think it was the same thing. So I started from that. I started getting into more meditation stuff, because there's so many different theories around the pyramids, and I found them interesting. So I'm like, wait, meditation and stuff, maybe I should give it a try. And I remember trying it the first time. So it was so difficult. I was like, this is the most difficult thing I've ever done. And I've done a lot of difficult things. I've studied Chinese. I've, done a lot of things. And I was like, that is it requires the most discipline of all the things I've done is meditation, because it's so difficult. It was so difficult for me to stay in it.
Yeah.
But once you reach those levels of meditation, where you've been sitting for like 45 minutes, and all of a sudden you just feel, joy out of nowhere, and you're like, what is this? It's the best joy you've ever felt. No matter, like, you can't even compare it to times when you got a gift or where you think you was happy.
How many times have you reached that state?
Only a handful of times.
Yeah.
A handful of times where I got, like, it's almost like a heat.
Why do you think that happens? When it happens?
It's difficult to say, but I think it's because I remember how it starts. For me, it always starts in a way where I'm thinking of, I start being grateful just to be alive. That's the first feeling I get. And then after that, it's just everything else becomes unimportant. Who I am, what job I have, how much money I make, all the things that is normally important, Yeah. Like, all these things become, you almost laugh at it, almost become laughable, because, it's a weird thing to describe, because you almost can't describe it. It just becomes so stupid to even think of that you find those things important normally, That's the feeling I get.
But isn't it just you sitting still for a long enough time to be able to connect with the universe, to be able to be present enough to shut off your thought supply, to go into this meditative state? Because I've been there a few times as well, and I completely share your experience, this unconditional joy.
Yeah.
You just feel at ease, Nothing can bother you.
Yeah.
You know that everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I think if you have those experiences, not every day, but regularly, then I think life becomes more of a dance. Then it becomes a struggle, because to many people it's a struggle. But I'm like, wait, why would it be a struggle for me? I walk outside and I don't look into my phone. I try to look up at the sky, or look at a tree, or like look at a dog or something, something that makes me smile.
Yeah.
And I do smile, I'm like, this is, I like this.
Yeah.
This is enjoyable. And I think it comes from having those experiences, because it's unimportant, if something happens. And it gives you sort of an ease, or like it's comfortable to be around people that are like that, I guess, because they're more relaxed. They make other people relaxed too.
But they aren't very abundant in life, those people. They are rare.
Oh, you mean people that
people that are just,
Yeah, but I think everyone can do
grounded.
It. But the funny thing is that every time people say, "Oh, I don't have time to meditate," I'm like, that's when you have to meditate.
Yeah, exactly.
When you say you don't have time to do it, you need to do it.
Yeah.
It's when you say, because of course you have fucking time to meditate, man. It's 10 fucking minutes. And if you don't have time for that, I feel sorry for you if you feel that way.
But again, we spoke a bit with Lucas about it on the podcast, where we talked about meditation can be other things that merely just sitting down.
Yeah.
Because I feel it's way more difficult for me to just sit down and meditate. I think it would take me like an hour to reach that state.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
If I take a run in nature, I go to the ocean and swim, or even just cooking sometimes, where I'm completely alone but fully present in what I do, I reach this state of joy. So I think meditation isn't always just sitting down with your eyes closed.
But for me, from just a subjective point of view, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's a different thing. And I didn't say it when we had the Lucas episode, but I should have said that. But I was more interested in hearing what he had to say than saying I disagree with you. But I do. For me, it's sitting down, and it's because when you cook or when you run, I know that feeling too. I do it as well. I love it. It's not that it's not an enjoyable sensation, but when you sit down and it's hard, and you sit down and it's so hard because every time you think of something, like just a small movement, that's fucked up. A small little movement fucks you up. And that's when you have to...
I agree, yeah.
And when you always go back to the breath, and you have to focus on the breath only, but then you think about, I gotta buy this, and then you wash my clothes. And when you every time those thoughts come into your mind, you let them flow on. And once you get in that state where you just completely focus on your breath,
that's where you reach it.
You cannot you cannot do that when you walk because you're moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You are constantly distracted.
Yeah.
Completely agree with you.
But I think what I agree with you and Lucas in the fact that, you know, it's enjoyable, and of course people should enjoy those things.
It's a sort of meditation. It's an active.
Sort of.
You also have to acknowledge that some people are unable to be in that state because they have, I don't want to say a fucked up mentality, but they have some trauma, they have some issues. And I've been there myself in my own period with the panic attacks.
Oh yeah.
It was simply impossible for me to be in that state.
Oh yeah, I've
because
been there too.
You are so dysfunctional in your brain, if I'm allowed to say that.
For sure. I mean,
so it's steps, you know. It's steps towards the ability
for sure.
of sitting down in that position.
I mean, I was there too, even after I had experienced it.
Yeah.
I mean, after in COVID, I got to a point where I was fucking drinking by myself at night. I was like, okay, let me just fucking open a bottle of red wine. And yeah, it sounds stupid, right?
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
Nah, but
until you get hammered, you know what I mean? And then you wake up the
good.
next day and you're like, what the fuck did I do? This is not the right road. But I knew it, but I kept doing it. Because, yeah, I guess I was just in an environment that was just, I was in lockdown. I was in a super unstable, and I had no control of what I wanted to do. I don't know if that was what got me away from those things for like 6 months. This is also why I went to India. The reason I went to India for a month is because I knew I had to get back on that track.
Yeah.
And where better place to go than fucking India, you know, where they practice it.
Exactly.
That was amazing.
The land of the Buddhism.
Yeah, I went to Rishikesh, and it was, you know, it got me right back on that track. But you know, even though you know what it is, you can get away from it. And even back then, I remember thinking to myself, I should go back to it. I should do it again. And just do. But another thought in my mind was saying, don't worry, you'll come back to it again later. But you're not ready to do that right now. It's not, you know, first of all, you can't meditate if you drink a bottle of wine.
No, that's impossible.
3 times a week, or like you sleep 4 hours. First things first. Right?
Get your shit right.
First, you know, get your health right and these things, because then, only then will you be able to experience the, I feel like. And I think that's also what you mean, you know, many people they sleep too little, or they you know, I mean, you can't meditate if you don't sleep enough, or you get agitated and annoyed with everything, you know? You know, so one thing, the first thing is just the practical things, I feel like. Once you get those things right, the rest can come. Because that meditation where you sit down and you have time to do it, that's a luxury. You know? That's a luxury that you don't have every day, but you should strive to reach it, because it's fucking amazing.
Okay, let's move on.
Next question.
Yeah.
Wait, we didn't even say when. When was this? How old were you?
I believe I said like 11 years ago or something.
Okay,
I believe I was like end of our teenage years or beginning of the 20s, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, same with me. I was in the beginning of the 20s.
But you weren't fucked up like that, right? You might have had your issues, but you haven't had this insane
to the same extent as you were.
No.
But I mean, we were hanging out, so it was not that different of an environment, and it's not that. I mean,
it was the same environment, yeah.
I mean, it's not like I
think
despise it or anything like that. It's not like I understand why people do it, and sometimes I can also feel like, okay, let's do something. Let's go out and have a drink, or let's do something else.
Let's just
why not
deviate a bit?
You can do that for sure. It's not that I say you can't do it, but it's more like you got to remember that it's fun. But the next time you do it, if you do it a week after, it's not going to be as fun. It's going to be down here. But you want it to be this fun. But next week, it's only going to be this fun. So why not have this much fun now, go back to your good routine, build up the struggle, and then come down here. And then next time you go out, in 2 months, it's going to be fun again. Because if you keep repeating it every week, it's going to go... And this is when you end up in that fucking addiction hole.
That state, yeah.
Okay, next question. What are your favorite off-grid solutions?
Well, I can speak from a perspective that I own a house. You can speak from another perspective, maybe. Off-grid solutions. Yeah, we've been trying to go off-grid for a long time.
Yeah, but
we've realized it's impossible. And based on our podcast session with Steen a few weeks ago, I've come to the conclusion that it's not going to happen.
Not here. Yeah.
So what do? We plan on getting fully solar powered, despite the fact that it's not possible here in the Scandinavia to go fully solar powered, but we'll try the best we can. Mm-hmm. Then we have a wood stove that can basically heat up most of the house. Mm-hmm. What else?
I think that's most of what people have, right?
Yeah, then you can have the sewage system, but that's impossible well.
But okay,
it's very difficult.
Let's start with the favorite things, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have to say a favorite thing, I would say probably the architecture where you incorporate the environments. That to me is fucking genius. Like when you take behind.
What was the question? Our solutions?
Our favorite off-grid.
Our favorite. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So the favorite. Let me start then with the favorite one. So my favorite one is, I think it's called Earthships, the one I showed you last time. Because to me it's brilliant that you can take earth behind a house and a greenhouse in front of a house, and then it's going to regulate the temperature inside, and you never have to pay for fucking heating again, and it's going to be perfect for human conditions, and you have food in a greenhouse. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why don't all have that? To me, that's my favorite thing in off-grid. That's the one I would incorporate most. I would say design or architecture.
But it's difficult to get there. You can for sure, but it's a years-long project, right?
Yeah, it is. It takes, first of all, you gotta have let's say there was no political problem with it. Let's say you could just go ahead and do it. It wouldn't take that long, especially not if people knew what they were doing. Let's say just 5% of all houses were incorporated into nature. It would be, first of all, it'd be so much more interesting driving around and looking at houses and architecture.
For sure.
Number one. Number two, it would be much faster to build a house like that and much cheaper because most of the materials are also reused materials.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are materials that's already in nature, like Steen, for instance. You remember the muscles that he was using. Flooring.
I was about to say that. Yeah, that was maybe my favorite. It was striking.
Yeah, but this is the thing. A guy like him. Yeah. Knows exactly because he's using the materials.
It was like
with nature.
Crushed muscles, right?
Yeah.
That he used as the foundation of the house, like the foundation that he built the house on.
Yeah, because it took out smell. It was perfect for that's what
for water.
It was taking up water. Yeah. It was so many things.
It made me realize he's grounded all the time.
Yes.
He's walking on. A natural organic material all the time. It's brilliant. It is like we were back in the days.
Yeah. And that's also why when you meet a guy like Steen, open, nice, rich.
Yeah, he is.
He's rich. Smart. All the things that you want to be, that people strive to be. He had that. Humble. You know, a leader in his community.
Yeah, fucking community. It was amazing to see. And ever since that day, I've been looking around in my neighborhood. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because people compete.
Yeah.
And this is,
people don't speak to each other.
Yeah, it's sad.
We're just isolated in our houses.
Yeah. Because people are scared of being embarrassed. I think that's why.
Probably.
Yeah.
I just think that's part of our nature.
Or like, they don't like other... I don't even know, to be honest. But yeah, I agree. When I was up there, I was like, that's where I want to live.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, honestly. Also because what really, I think, my favorite result of an off-grid solution is the creative freedom that you will have from living off-grid, I think. Because the moment you live off-grid...
Financial freedom.
You don't have to think about the money you can save. Think about what you'll be able to quit your job tomorrow.
You don't have to use money
if you don't
anymore.
like it. You know, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's probably, of course, it's good for the environment. That's a bonus. But that makes sense to me. You know, of course, it would be good for the environment. It's good for everyone. It's good for everything that we
That's
will
the
live
obvious,
off grid.
yeah.
I'm not saying 100% off grid, but at least partly off grid. I mean, the whole society should be structured in a way that's somewhat partly off grid. I get it if every house in here, let's say there's a city of 20,000 houses or something. Yeah, I get it if it's not really a good idea if all of them separately are off grid, because that means you have to repeat the building every time. You know, you can't make one sewage system.
Yeah.
But if you break it down and you say, okay, you find what makes sense, like 10 houses, one greenhouse, one massive greenhouse, and one solar cell thing, and then you make it like that, or you know, so you make different off-grid solutions for different sizes of communities, so you make off-grid communities instead of off-grid houses.
But if we try to break it down to make it more realistic to people, then maybe grow your own food.
Yeah,
as
greenhouse
as best as you can. Have a greenhouse,
yeah.
Solar panels, wood stove. I guess that's the easiest go-to solutions. All this Earthship is very interesting to us, but again, like Sten talked about, it's completely unrealistic for the. It has to be constructed or implemented on a societal basis, because you cannot just go out and build your own. Mostly
because they won't let you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
It's completely insane that people will not, or I mean, think about, we're talking about sustainability and lowering the greenhouse gases and my ass, because we're not doing it.
No.
It's fucking right there. This guy that's been working on Earthship is similar to Sten. He's been working on it for 50 years. Why does no one know about it yet?
Are we having him on the show?
I hope so. Yeah. We're having one of the guys from Earthship on.
You've been talking to him, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hopefully this, but I mean, he has cancer and stuff, this guy. Yeah. So, but he's fucking smart too. And this is the thing. You can hear it with Sten as well. One of the smartest guys I've ever met. Maybe he comes off across as a little bit like energetic and funny and that, but I'm telling you, this guy's brain he's probably fucking smart, you know, when it comes down, because he was talking about quantum physics and ancient Chinese medicine and shit like that.
You have to be smart if you are willing to go 100% off grid and just say fuck everything.
Yeah,
I'm doing it on my own.
Courageous.
You have to be, yeah, for sure.
But which one is your favorite then?
Favorite what?
Off grid solution.
Honestly, I think you're more into it than me. So just based on our little adventure a few weeks ago down at Sten, I think it was the foundation with the mussels.
Yeah.
I think that was, and just the whole recycle thing, the whole thing about building your own house on organic materials. It doesn't have to be more advanced than that.
No, but it's also, I mean, it's almost like a material science as well.
Yeah, it is.
Because you have to know what different materials are good at. Like these stones are good at heating up and stay hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Other stones are good at keeping cold. Some metals are good. You know, you have to...
You have to be smart.
You know, when...
Or well educated.
Yeah, you at least think in terms of like, how can I use these materials the most, you know, instead of just plastic, throw it out. Plastic, throw it out. You know, like we do now. I mean... Yeah.
Okay.
Next. Let's go next one then. Can you take us through water fasting before, during?
I think there was one before that, right? Or did I miss something?
Yeah. What supplements are you taking? Sorry, I didn't see that.
That one. Okay. Let me just get them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we can take it.
All right.
Back in business. The question: supplements. What the favorite or what supplements?
What supplements are you taking right now?
Yeah. Okay. So we have a little collection here. First, there's these Fadoja agrestis and Tonkat Ali.
Oh, those are the ones I gotta get.
I told you about them, right?
Yeah, I haven't gotten them yet.
Those for the testosterone.
Yeah.
So that is basically plant medicine. And there's a funny little history about it because, and I guess I didn't tell you because you were traveling to New York, but I got my testosterone tested again while you were gone.
Okay.
Because the idea about me getting my testosterone tested back in the days when we spoke about it this summer was because I was off these pills. So I got my values tested, and then I wanted to get them tested again when I was on them to see if there was actually any difference. Because if there wasn't, I didn't wanted to spend my or waste my money on keep buying them. So I got it tested, and I got an answer the day after, and there was a pretty significant peak in my testosterone. So I went from the top of the normal value to getting up to, above normal value.
Yeah.
So now I'm in kind of the red zone.
Which is...
I kind of see it as the higher the better.
Yeah.
But this was like a red zone that you are too high, right?
Yeah.
But testosterone-wise, when you're doing it the natural way, with diet, sunlight, cold exposure, these pills, for example, I only see it as a good sign that you can get it as high as possible. So interesting for you.
I gotta get these.
You gotta get these because you're compromised with the vegan diet, at least in terms of the testosterone, right?
Yeah, but I never got it checked because of the doctors. But that is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, which one else do you have?
Then NMN, which is, did we speak about that?
This is for cell.
This is the longevity molecule, or NAD+. NMN is a precursor to NAD+. NAD+ is the molecule that declines with age. So the older we get, the lower a value. So by supplementing with this, you can keep your values high. And the theory is that will support your longevity and support your life expectancy. At least that's what we see in mice.
Okay.
That we increase their lives by, I don't know if it's 20-25%, something like that. Pretty significant.
Is that Michael Sinclair?
David Sinclair.
David Sinclair.
Yeah. He led me down to that research.
Yeah.
And then they're potentially doing some other stuff as well, like increasing hair growth, nail growth.
That's what I'm about to say. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why I growed my hair, because I wanted to test that out.
But isn't your hair also growing twice the rate as what normal people's hair are growing?
Yeah, mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tested it for.
Okay.
And whether that's because of these or I just have strong hair, I don't know.
Maybe both.
Yeah, but I also do red light therapy. I get a lot of sunlight and all that stuff, which is supporting that as well.
I also do red light therapy, and I think that's also counts as a supplement in a way, because
for sure, it's the best cell supplement you can get.
Yeah.
For your skin health, for your eye health, for your hair health, in general, just the cells in your body, right?
Yeah, and it's basically a machine that's a little bit more costly than, I guess, pills. But you can get it in
a little more costly. The red light?
Yeah.
Significantly more costly.
Yeah, it's a couple of thousand.
You bought it, right?
Yeah, I bought it. I bought it directly from China, though.
Yeah, me too.
You can save money if you do that.
You can.
So it's good, and we're gonna talk to Jack Cruz about that. We haven't even talked to him about what that does. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe he says that's the worst shit you could do, but I don't think so.
No, I believe there's pretty good scientific basis in the red light, and I don't believe it holds any health risks at all.
What about the grounding sheet? Are you still using it?
The bed sheet? No, I sent it back.
Okay.
It was terrible to lay on.
Oh, okay.
It was like this. I know it's not rubber, but like rubber-ish.
Yeah.
And it's folded in this uncomfortable way, so my soft mattress wasn't soft anymore.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah.
But I'm making my own off-grid. That's not off-grid. It's a stupid use of the word. I'm making my own homemade.
Grounding bed sheet,
grounding bed. I'm not gonna be a bed sheet because I agree. I mean, first of all, I think it's better if you're directly in touch with what is grounding than if you put a sheet in between.
For sure, but then you have to wash it.
Yeah.
Because it gets very dirty whatever you sleep on.
But I'm thinking, where is it that you want to ground the best?
When you sleep? Yeah, like that. Yeah.
If you make only
for the feet.
only a grounding sheet that you could just put on top of the sheet that is conductive. I've bought material now. I just received it today, and I'm gonna start making it. I guess when I come home.
But you're right. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be more than just the feet.
Yeah, because I mean, as long as you're connected, that's fine. So I've already checked my whole setup at home is grounded.
Mm-hmm.
So now I just have to make that little sheet for the feet, and then I can put it there. So I'm just gonna make like a double one. I guess you can't. No matter what you have that's conductive, you can't wash it.
No, you can't.
I mean, you have to wash it as little as possible. And even if you have something where you put a sheet over, I'd rather have something that's only for my feet than I have something that I lie on constantly, you know?
But what if you put it below your bed sheet? Bed sheet is often just a thin layer of cotton. And cotton is organic material, hence why it's conductive.
Maybe I can try it. Actually,
you can try it because you have the
I have to measure
testing. Yeah,
I have the testing equipment. Maybe I'll just try it and we can talk about it another time.
Yeah,
and I can tell people how to make it as well.
Yeah,
because I saw some people were interested about how you make some off-grid things, not off-grid, grounding things.
Mm-hmm.
And we can show them. I'll show them how to make it, and I'll show them how it works if it works. And I guess that's also counts as a supplement.
For sure, it's an antioxidant.
Yeah,
it's anti-inflammatory. Like when you go to the grass, you're pumping up negative ions into your body, which is basically an antioxidant.
Yeah, I guess that's also
supplement.
What sometimes people have to. Not people. I mean, everyone, even myself, have to be reminded that it's not only what you eat that's a supplement.
Supplement as little as possible.
Yeah.
As little as possible.
I mean, if you can eat healthy and eat clean and then do cold showering.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a supplement too in a way.
Supplementation is basically bad because all supplements contain at least a little artificial substance, you know, even if it's the capsule or whatever it is. But the problem with our soil today and the way we cultivate food is that we don't get enough micronutrients from the food.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is try to only choose natural supplements that come from real foods. Like this one, for example. This is the Rosita cod liver oil. This is pure cod liver oil extracted from wild caught cods wherever they catch it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So.
And you can see it.
You can see it.
This is really just fish oil, but it's good unprocessed fish oils. I'm not very much into these natural, or not natural, but regular fish oil pills that people take. This is the pure source. So you get the DHA, you get the EPA. What this also gives you is an explosion of vitamin A, but also vitamin D. So I don't have to supplement any of those because I can take this. So I never take vitamin D synthetically. I just take this one, especially here in the winter months where it's completely light out outside.
That's good.
And I give it to my daughter as well from the day she was like 6 months or something. She get it on the spoon.
Good.
So that's good, and I can recommend you that as well because as a vegetarian you are allowed to eat that, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not that I'm not a religious, you know, like so. You know, in that ways, I mean I would.
Yeah, but you still have some principles that you have to follow.
Yeah, I mean for me, well, I can say what I do use. Well, let's finish with you first, then I can say what I do.
We only have 2 left here. Then there's the beef liver, again back to the natural supplementation from the Nordic kings, which is, again, beef liver, powdered beef liver on capsules. So that is as natural as you can get it.
Yeah.
And the thing about beef liver is that it's the most micronutrient dense food you can eat.
Okay.
Period. There's nothing more superior in terms of micronutrients than beef liver.
Yeah.
And I really don't like to eat it. I don't like the taste of heart and liver and kidney and whatever organs you can eat. So that's perfect.
Okay.
And I've even read some literature on supplementing beef liver gives you more bioavailable nutrients than if you eat it like pure.
Okay.
Something I've never heard about before with any other type of food. So nonetheless, this is the replacement for regular multivitamin pills because it contains nearly all vitamins and minerals that you can get. Yeah. So I don't take any synthetic multivitamins. I just take the beef liver.
I would say, even though I'm a vegetarian, this one I haven't done yet because it's meat. So
it is still.
This is why I haven't done
it. This is like a food supplement. So.
But I've thought, and that says a lot. I've even thought about taking that one. What's the last one?
This one, magnesium.
Oh, that's magnesium.
And the thing about magnesium is that if you see it, this is a combination of glycinate, taurinate, and the threonates. The thing about magnesium is that there are many types of magnesium, and there are many irrelevant types, and there are many types that you shouldn't really take. So these 3 types are by far the best types you can take. The glycinate, the taurinates, and the threonates. So that's why I found this formula from what they call the functional self. And they're combined into one. And I take it just before I sleep to aid my sleep depth and sleep quality and muscle recovery and whatever follows along with it. So magnesium, you have to be cautious about what type of magnesium you take. And in general, I would advise people to take magnesium at night because it can aid your sleep.
Okay, good.
So that's basically what I take.
Was there not one more? Or that's the
Rosita cod liver oil.
All right.
So yeah, that's basically what I take.
Okay, then I can say what I do. I do spirulina. Pills.
Yeah.
Superfood.
Yeah.
I don't even know, man. It's not that I don't know, but it's just I've eaten it for so long. Spirulina. It's just a superfood that has so many also micronutrients in it that just makes me feel good, you know? And it's basically what's it called? Algae.
Yeah.
That is on top of the that's how it's grown, and then it's just a superfood basically. I try to stay with superfoods instead of like pills. I also do hemp oil.
Yeah.
I do like sometimes, not every day. I do a little bit of half a spoon of hemp oil. I do creatine. That's something you told me to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Creatine. And
good
then
idea.
I do I have these other like different kind of herbs that put into like a little tonic. Basically a lot of different things, ginger, turmeric, so many different herbs and Ayurvedic medicines in this little thing called Vitality Tonic.
So they're all plant-based?
Yeah, it's just herbs and basically superfoods and herbs. And then I also do that once in a while. Other than that, I do the cold shower. I do the light therapy.
But the question is, why do you supplement? You always have to ask yourself that question. Do you supplement just to supplement, or do you do it for a specific purpose? Can you actually feel that it works?
I do it just to do it, man. I don't know.
Sometimes you should, of course, we've talked about this before, but of course, get your blood values tested because they can tell you something that you are unable to feel yourself.
Yeah.
But sometimes just take a month out where you completely stop taking anything, and then you're like, sort of like the elimination diet, where you put one thing in and or take one thing out, so you can see how your body responds to it. Because sometimes, I think a lot of times we're wasting our money on a lot of stuff. So I'm rotating all the time. Now I have kind of a foundation of supplements that I know I will be taking for many years, but I've really been rotating a lot. And that was the plan as well with these Tomcat Ali and Fedotchi Agrestis. My plan was to simply cut them out but I saw on paper that they worked.
Yeah, true. I mean, to me, it's also like I haven't seen it scientifically, but there's just something in my mind that says, for instance, spirulina, that it's, that it's good for me. And maybe it's not, but
maybe the placebo.
It could, but that's what I was about to say. That's another thing. I mean, if you're healthy, a big part of it is also believing you're healthy.
That you feel that you're doing something good for yourself.
I think that's a huge part of it. And I think, if it's not that I know all of the things scientifically what I do, but for instance, being a vegetarian, I can feel that it makes me more healthy. And in turn, that makes me think, well, I'm healthy, which then makes me healthy, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I only have one blood value that was not, that was in the red zone, and that was B12, which makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I started taking sometimes B12 supplements.
Yeah.
So the rest of my blood values are all in the sweet spot. They're all there.
And again, that's the Bryan Johnson complex, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to compromise your health the natural way in order to supplement with some synthetic things to get the vitamins or the minerals that you need?
Yeah, because it just makes your body less. I mean, the moment you don't have them.
Yeah.
Imagine Bryan Johnson that goes a week without having his daily routine.
Yeah.
You throw him in jail.
Yeah. He's fun. But I think the next question is about him. So let's not let's not talk too much about him. But do you have anything else in terms of supplementation? I take creatine as well.
Yeah.
I actually take one synthetic vitamin, and that's the K2. Extremely important for your heart health, your bone density, all that stuff. K2 is often the missing link.
What is that?
K2 is just a vitamin, like B12 or D or A or whatever.
Okay.
There are different types of K2. There's a guy called Weston A. Price who've studied this a lot. And I guess it's the K2, is it MK4 or MK7, which is the king. It's only found in animal foods.
Okay.
But nevertheless, I take this K2 complex, which contains many variants of these MK versions, simply because I'm not sure I get enough from diets. And again, if you took some blood value tests, you would be able to see where you are on that one. But I don't know, you took the test, but it wasn't that broadly scaled, right?
You mean the values, different values?
Blood values, yeah.
I got a lot of different things. I don't remember exactly what.
But you were unable to see vitamin A, E, D, B, etc., right?
I actually have them.
Yeah?
Let's try to pull them up. Then you can have a look.
Yeah?
It might be interesting if there's any vegetarians listening.
Uh-huh.
Where the fuck is it?
Was it vitamins and minerals? And did you get other things tested? Testosterone, no, right?
Okay, I'll send it to you later. We can see. No, I didn't get testosterone tested.
Okay, yeah, you were unable to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's jump on to the next one.
Yeah.
Fasting, right?
Am I the question asker this time?
Yeah, I guess.
Can you take us through water fasting? Before, during, after.
Okay, I can start that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, water fasting is basically a technique where you change your normal rhythm or the way that the body works so that it goes from taking energy from the nutrients that you put into it to going into taking it from ketones, which is called ketosis or full ketosis. So some people talk about going into or doing like a keto diet, where they fast, or it's kind of the same, but your body will never go into full ketosis. So basically what happens, so if you want to take it through, what I do when I do it is first of all, you have to be mentally ready. You can't say, I'm going to start fasting tomorrow.
But water fasting is nothing but water, right?
Yeah. So for me, I have to get ready at least a couple of weeks in advance. When you get the idea, I want to water fast, then you plan ahead and you say, okay, in 2 or 3 weeks, I have to water fast. And I plan it for days when I don't do anything else. I don't plan it for when I got a full schedule.
You have to.
I think you have to.
I mean,
I've done it a lot of times, and I heard many people say, "Oh, I didn't feel anything. I could work."
Yeah, fuck that.
Like, what kind of fucking work do you do?
But it's a spiritual practice as well.
Yeah.
So you have to be narrow-minded on what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so yeah, that is too. There's basically 3 elements to it. There's the physical, there's the mental, and then there's the spiritual.
Yeah.
That's what people say. Oh, that's But anyway, so a month in advance or 3 weeks in advance, I plan it. And then when it gets closer, I stop drinking coffee, and I stop, of course, drinking alcohol. As soon as I do it, I stop like the big toxins. And if you smoke, I would probably stop smoking too. And then a week before you stop drinking coffee, because if you drink coffee all the way up until the moment you do water fasting,
you'll get a headache.
You get headaches. So
big time.
A week before you start, you stop drinking coffee. And then about 2 or 3 days before you go into complete water fasting, you go into juice fast. And that's not, commercial orange juice. Like you make your own juices.
You would do that?
Yeah, because you have...
Why?
Or soups. Because you kind of got to ease your body into it. If you just go from like having full meals...
I guess it would just be harder for you to transition into it. I don't think you have to physically.
But I guess it's the same thing as the coffee thing, It's
sure.
It's you can do all those things. You can drink a big bottle of vodka and go into fasting the next.
It's just to make it easier for you.
It's to make it not the right way. You can do whatever you want, but that's how I do it. And then like 2-3 days within, I only drink juices and drink soups, and then I go into water fasting. So every day I will only drink water and put a little bit of salt in the water, because you don't want any nutrition whatsoever. Because if you have anything, if you just have, lemon or something or lime or something in your water, then it's gonna start your gut.
You will break your fast, and you will break your fast at roughly 50 calories.
Yeah.
So that's the benchmark.
Okay.
You have to stay
I didn't even
within.
know. I don't remember that. But yeah. So you can't really eat anything. So once this start, the first day of the fast, and the first day is okay. You're like, oh, it's only this, and then in the evening time when you're about to go to sleep, you're like, fucking hell, I can't sleep because you're so hungry, and your stomach start making noises, and you can't sleep, and then. The next day is the worst. The second day to me is literally the worst day of them all.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's peaking there.
It's kind of peaking because your body is halfway into ketosis.
Yeah.
So you are really, really hungry, and like when you diet, almost you almost can't sit. You just have to throw yourself in a chair, or like when you walk up, when you stand up, you get dizzy. These kind of things, And then after day 2, it actually starts getting better. And this is when your body goes into full ketosis. You're not that hungry anymore. Your energy levels rise a little bit. And you feel a lot better. And that's when you feel the ketosis. And I did it with my dad actually earlier this year. Because it's super beneficial to, during fasting, when the ketones is the main driver of your energy, your body will look for things to take energy from.
Yeah.
And the body is designed in a way so it would take the bad things before it takes the good things.
And that's where autophagy comes in.
Yeah, that's the difference between starving and fasting.
Yeah.
Because starvation is when your body starts taking the crucial things like proteins and muscle and stuff like that. So before it takes that, it's going to go and take cancer cells and
all the dysfunctional cells in your body.
Yeah, that's the first thing it's going to take. And
that's also part of the reason why you begin to feel this rush of energy on day 3 and onwards. You can start training again. and start doing the same stuff that you did before the fasting.
Yeah.
With no food incoming at all.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I still have lower energy levels, then I still would prefer doing a fast without any physical activity. Because sometimes even on day 3 and day 4, you feel low on energy. Is it still going?
Yeah, all good, all good.
You still feel low on energy, so I still don't feel perfect, but it's better than day 2.
Yeah.
And then you just continue and continue. Sleeping is always gonna be hell, like when you're
I think
fasting.
it gets easier.
It gets easier than day 2.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the worst time when you're fasting is when you're about to go to sleep because
it's just frustrating.
But at the same time, you're like, yay, finally, you can sleep 8 hours and forget you're hungry,
That's basically all you think about.
Food, money, food.
That's the last thing you think about.
Yeah, that's the last thing. But yeah, you think about all the food you're gonna make afterwards, and the funny thing is, like mentally and spiritually, I guess, is that every time I do fasting, I kind of make like life choices or like things I want to change when I'm done fasting. Because oftentimes we have many things related to food, that it doesn't really come out in a normal daily life because we just eat whenever we feel bored or whenever we feel something, people will eat. And
it's a lack of distraction.
Yeah, so after I started fasting, I started enjoying being hungry a lot more.
Yeah.
And I started, it's almost like a better relationship with food itself because you don't need it. You don't need breakfast. You know that you can go a fucking week, 10 days without eating a single thing.
Before you tried it, you were almost scared of being hungry.
Yeah.
You were taught as a kid, as soon as you're hungry, you need to get some.
It's so unhealthy and shit. Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's the best thing for you. I mean, it's not the best thing for you to fast every month. For sure. It's not. But maybe one day, but not like a week.
Yeah, I don't know. No.
I mean, a week I do once a year.
Yeah.
And then I do sometimes a day. But
what about mentally? How did you feel in comparison to your normal day life?
Great. I mean, you feel much more clear in your...
Yeah.
In a way when you're thinking, you feel a lot more...
That's the detox.
Maybe it is.
I think it is because you have nothing coming in.
Yeah.
Neither the good stuff or the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't have this layer of brain fog.
Yeah, kind of. That's how it feels.
You're just super sharp.
Yeah. Kind of. You are super sharp and you kind of like... Yeah, mentally you feel great.
Yeah.
Of course you're hungry and everything, but other than that, like once you really find that when you start thinking about stuff and you don't think about you're hungry, then you feel great and you feel positive and you feel good.
The most profound thing I felt mentally was there was no deviation in my mood.
Yeah.
I was never angry.
Yeah.
I was never ecstatic. I was just calm.
Yeah.
Normally you're like this, depending on what food you eat or what kind of stimuli you're exposed to. When I was fasted, I was just like this for the entire day.
Yeah.
Nothing could shake me off.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's also one of the things I liked about it. And I guess, again, a little bit meditative state, in a way.
For sure. If you do it the right way, if you don't jerk off, if you don't watch television, if you don't scroll on social media, if you go all in on this is the most profound spiritual experience you might ever have.
I actually did that when I told you when I went out in the tent.
You jerked off?
No. That's the fucking last thing I want to do when I fast.
Yeah.
No, I went out all in nature. took a tent. I think we talked about it in the Danish one.
Yeah, we did.
But I took a tent.
Yeah.
And I just went out on a beach, on a deserted beach when I lived in China. And I was there. And it's different when there's no TV and there's no books, there are no distractions. There's only the water and then you. And then when the sun goes down, you go to bed. it was great, you know. But it's not great while you're doing it. But it's a great experience afterwards when you think back on it. You're like, wow, you were so awake almost. And you know, it's almost like it's such it has such a big impact on me. Like I remember everything from it, you know, almost.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle, but at the same time, I felt like, you know, it was giving me a lot. So I could also recommend that. That's the best fast I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because you also fast from all the
and
entertainment.
because you're in nature has a huge impact.
Yeah.
But let's make it clear to people what you can consume, because you can in principle consume coffee and tea. I wouldn't advise consume anything that can stimulate you, such as caffeine. But it is legal.
I didn't even know that.
It doesn't break a fast.
Okay.
So basically, tea is just water with herbs.
Maybe
right?
that's why some people can work.
I don't know, but I still see it as cheating.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you don't want to, because I mean, for me, when I drink coffee, I gotta take a shit.
Yeah.
So I imagine it does something to your fucking gut.
It does something, and it does something to your circadian rhythm, and I just wouldn't let that stimulate me unnecessarily. But basically, you want to drink water, but you also need to keep your electrolyte levels high. Salt. Himalayan salt, I prefer, or you can use sea salt, but you know there's a risk of plastic accumulation in the seas.
Yeah, true.
Nowadays. So Himalayan mountain salt. It's good.
Which is another interesting thing, just a side note.
Yeah, but let me just finish this. That's what you can put in. You can put a little lemon juice in.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Well, you see, that's when it started. I did it last time because Steve did it.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fine. Yeah, true. You can actually do that. Yeah, it is not good. But I still feel like I cheated a little bit, you know?
That's just a little flavor, but actually I wouldn't do it for the flavor part. I would do it for the health benefits. Just like I used to put in some apple cider vinegar into it, because apple cider vinegar organically induces the detoxification process in your body. So I don't see this as cheating. I see it as accelerating the healing process.
Yeah, that's fucking healthy too.
Yeah, it is very healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what you need to consume.
If you want to consume anything, because I've consumed nothing but water those times.
Yeah.
And that was great too, you know?
I think you can, but just to be on the safe side, at least in terms of the salt, right?
But I was fucking hiking. After that trip when I went into nature, I hadn't eaten for probably 7 or 8 days because I did the 3-day juice before. And I was hiking back with a 15-kilo backpack on fucking rocks. So, I mean, you have energy after that. It's also a mental thing. Obviously, I couldn't. It was actually kind of scary because I had to take like 10 steps and then I had to like, you know, bow down. And then it took me like 30 minutes or 45 minutes to go there. It took me like 3 hours to get back.
I don't think you're, once again, back to the cheating. That's like cheating yourself. I don't think you're supposed to be physically active.
No.
Because you're just stressing the system, and the system needs
it's like
rest.
What are you doing?
Yeah, because there's no energy coming in, so the output of energy should be very limited.
Yeah. True.
So if you should do any exercise, I don't know, breathing, light yoga, stretching, whatever you would do, but keep your heart rate as low as possible for the entire period.
And go to, one thing I would love to do is go like some Airbnb in, you know,
remote
India,
place.
Thailand, something like that. Some place where a Jack Cruz place, you know, some place Jack Cruz would go and do it with no TV, no nothing. Or a mountain or something like that, because then you get the spiritual part of it as well. That's what I did in China. It was much more like spiritually. You had a lot more things because you're looking at nature, you're looking at things, you're facing yourself in a different way that if you do it at home watching fucking HBO, you know? But yeah, and the most difficult part of fasting, I would say, is when you end the fast. Because that's when you feel like, fuck, I just want to eat, you know? And I'm so bad at that.
you have to be very cautious about what you put into your body because your gut is very sensitive there.
Yeah.
So it has to be food low in fibers. You have to avoid meat, even I would say that.
Steamed vegetables?
Something like that.
I mean, the best thing...
berries, something like that.
The very best thing is something fluid, like bone broth or something.
Yeah.
That's what people say, like bone broth is very good. Because
or even fish. Fish is okay.
Yeah, I guess, but still, I would still go with something... even lighter, man. Something like or a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I always crave is like oranges and like these kind of things, or strawberries or something like that.
But the thing is that the taste
is amazing.
If you haven't experienced that before, that's one of the most insane experiences out there. You can just feel every inch of taste that whatever you eat has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, it's an explosion in your mouth and you're just left like closing your eyes and just being in the moment.
Yeah, that's insane. And
you just appreciate food much more afterwards.
That's the same thing I did with my dad. We did it like a couple months ago, and I say, when we stop fasting here, we gotta have oranges ready, lemons ready, grapefruit ready, strawberries, banana. Just make like small little pieces of everything and just try to taste it individually.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like... Yeah, it's the best. Yeah. So, but it's also very difficult because the moment you start eating, you're like, this is so fucking good. I want more.
Yeah, because you're fucking hungry.
And you're hungry.
I fucked up one time.
Yeah.
That was my second time. So I just thought, fuck it. I am so hungry now. I have to have the best I can get. So I bought smørbrød. That's a Danish thing with the rye bread and different things on top.
Yeah.
Super delicious. Yeah. And I just bought 3 pieces like this. I went down to the supermarket. I bought a beer.
A beer.
And I broke my fast with like a 2,000 calorie meal and a beer. And whoa, my stomach.
Shit?
Yeah, I felt like shit, and it was very painful.
Yeah.
But the experience, I still never forget. Fuck, it was delicious for like 10 minutes or something. But then I was sick for 24 hours.
It's probably the worst thing you could do. A beer and smørbrød. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, so that's how you don't break a fast. Yeah, but so the best thing is to keep it light.
Yeah. So that's basically the fast, and then after that, your whole body has been detoxed.
Yeah,
and
your brain.
All of your brain, you feel good, you feel ready, you lost weight.
Yeah,
you lost fat, not muscle, and you feel great, you look great, everything. You know, and you can see one of the things you can really see the difference. I feel is like hair, eyes, skin. These kind of things looks a little bit more vibrant.
You have another glow.
Yeah, after like a few days after, you feel like, wow, I'm, you know.
Yeah.
It's you can even see that.
And you lose about a kilo per day, right?
Yeah, I guess it also depends on how long you do it. The longest fast ever is more than a year. A super fat dude. Yeah, it's like in the 60s. A super fat dude that he was constantly being looked over by doctors to make sure it was not gonna fucking die, but he did it. I think it's something like 370 or 380 days, only water.
Wow.
Yeah, and
but he got a lot of.
He was skinny after that, and the funny thing is, he never became fat again.
Wow.
So he stayed the weight that he was done, but that's also
but maybe also because his relationship to food changed after that, because you create a permanent change.
Yeah, I mean your whole body is. It's a much better way to just train yourself to either do intermittent fasting, which everyone should do, I feel like, and then once in a while do water fasting, because then automatically you train your body to eat less and your whole system will work on less. I think the stomach thing, what is that called? Your stomach is probably gonna get smaller. It's gonna remain the size that is good for you, instead of you just accumulate all the time. You're gonna kind of regulate it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure.
Very interesting. Okay, next one.
Let's make this the last question.
The last one?
Is that number 1, number 5?
Cover Bryan Johnson. Your honest opinion.
Sorry, one more time.
Cover Bryan Johnson. Your honest opinion. And then it says vegan diet.
I think that's just, I don't know if it's notes.
Sex schedule. What the fuck?
Yeah. For sure. Okay. Yeah. Cover Bryan Johnson.
Yeah. Okay. Let's first define. Well, first of all, we would love to have him as a guest. That's first thing we would say. Yeah, at least I would. I would fucking love to meet him.
I am communicating with him, and hopefully it will happen this January. But let's see. He's a very busy man, and but things are looking good.
That's good.
We covered him thoroughly on our Danish solo, which will never happen again. The Danish solo. So let's do a comprehensive.
Okay, I can.
Uncovering.
Should I start? So Bryan Johnson is basically he's basically a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he created an app called Venmo in the US. Something that was bought by Venmo. Anyway, he made a shit ton of money on Venmo on selling his company. And he made so much money that he decided to go all in on health only. So going all in on health to him means measuring biomarkers, measuring everything from like your skin to your all your intestines and all of your organs and everything.
Basically testing everything.
Everything every day, and then putting everything out open source in something called the Blueprint, which is fucking genius, which is why I love the guy.
It's very humble of him.
Very, very, he seems like the best person, and he takes so much criticism.
Yeah.
And he's basically just, even though people can disagree with him, he basically just tries to help. And I think people misunderstand him a little bit, because I don't think he's trying to like live to be 500 or, be some old billionaire. I think he's basically just trying to figure out how he can optimize his body while he's alive.
No, he said something. He's been saying it many times. He said that his goal is not per se to live forever, but it is to live long enough to find the cure to live forever.
Okay.
Whether that is placing your consciousness in a computer or whatever that is. So his goal is to live until he's 125. I believe that's his estimate of when we can begin to live forever.
Okay.
Like what I just said, placing or uploading your consciousness into an AI or a computer or something, for whatever fucking reason that is. I don't understand it. But again, that's what he wants. If that's because he enjoys life too much or he fears death too much, whatever that is, that's his goal.
Yeah.
So that is where he's heading with his project.
And it's also, we have to also say that he is what is called a rejuvenation athlete. Rejuvenation athlete, I think it's called. It's a new term. It's a list of people that are younger than their actual age. And the number one on that list is Bryan Johnson. So he is, from his blood only.
Yeah, okay.
His blood only, if you take it out, he's 45, but in terms of that, his blood and his function or whatever of his body is the same as someone who I think is 25. So...
But I must say,
yeah,
sometimes you also have to look at a person, and see how does this look.
Yeah.
Because I know how Bryan Johnson looked before he started this 5 years ago or 7 years ago or whatever that was, and he was remarkably more handsome than what he are today. He actually had a skin color. He actually had hair growth.
Yeah.
Normal looking hair on his head. Not this long, thin red hair that he, for some reason, have now.
Yeah.
He looked like a normal guy.
Yeah.
Of course, he has optimized in maybe a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean.
But don't tell me that his blood values says that he's 55 when his physical appearance says that he's 60.
Yeah.
It has to match up.
I agree to that. I mean, the way he looks is also, I guess, the controversy. But if you just took, let's just say you gave him a black suit on, or like any color suit on, and you couldn't see his face, you couldn't see anything, and you just saw his movement. You wouldn't think that.
Movement. What do you mean by movement?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, his body shape and the way he moves and the way he is. I mean, I think he doesn't look old, but I get what you mean, because everything he does make him look like a kind of like a.
But again, if we go to that approach, if we go to the movement approach again, he's doing thing, or his goal is his goal is good.
Yeah.
But the way he approaches it is completely wrong, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So he wants good posture, he wants strength, he wants mobility.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to look good.
Yeah.
Fine, good posture is great. But the way he gets to it, by isolated movements.
Yeah, true.
By stretching in weird ways. So you want to have a good posture. All right, great. But why do you want to have a good posture? You want to have a good posture because posture is the byproduct of good health. Okay? So if you're healthy, if you move the right way, if you in general have good health habits in your life, your posture will follow along. But he's doing it the other way. So he's not saying fuck health, but he's doing it the opposite way. So he's saying, I want to have good posture, so I'm training my way into good posture. So I'm doing enough rows until my shoulders are like this, you know? That's basically what he does. It's the mainstream approach, and it's the wrong way to do it, because posture is a byproduct of good health. It's not, or it shouldn't be a byproduct of how you train. So again, the purpose of what he wants to do is good, but the way he gets there is completely the wrong way, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean,
and again, with the veganism, with the veganism, with the sunlight, with the supplements, with the chronic stress, he trains 7 days a week. He lives in this OCD-like pattern where everything has to be scheduled, which is very good for his sleep, because sleep requires schedule, consistency, but for everything else, it creates OCD. Shit, because everything has to be in the right order from Monday to Sunday, week by week. And according to his sex schedule, or his relationship schedule, that he's been openly out saying that he won't probably be able to find a partner because of his schedule. Sex needs to be scheduled. He needs to be in bed 8:30 every day. He can't sleep in the same bedroom as his girlfriend. You know, on and on and on. And of course, it's amazing that you can be so dedicated, but are you compromising too many aspects of life?
And also another thing, and I mean, there's a Harvard study on who lived the longest.
Yeah.
And the people that live the longest are people that have partners and people around them.
Community.
Yeah.
Nature.
But specifically partners. People without that.
Yeah.
They live, I think it's an average of fucking 10 years less or something like that. Yeah, it's a significant change in that.
And that's what I mean. Again, he's deviating from these norms that are making us humans. You know, he's too much into technology, into blood testing, into blah blah blah. My blood says I'm 25. Okay, but take a look at you. You don't look 25, bro. Okay. Again, he's scared of the sun because the mainstream belief is that sunlight is bad for you.
Did he say that?
Yeah. He is scared of the sun. So he's white as a dead man.
Yeah.
So he never gets any sunlight. And we know, you know now after the conversation with Jack Cruz, that sunlight is essential. It's vital for life. Tan is critical.
Yeah.
And again with the vegan, a thing is that he's vegan, okay, But when you have to take 111 supplements a day to compromise for the lack of micronutrients that you get from the vegan diet, then it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Then you once again take the artificial way to reach your goal.
Yeah.
Always nature first.
Yeah.
And again, he acknowledges that the vegan diet lowers his testosterone. So what does he do to compromise for that? He supplements testosterone.
Yeah.
So again, what is the right path?
I mean, you're right. You're right with everything you say, for sure. I mean, it's not like I'm a Bryan Johnson fan.
And this is not to sound negative for him, because I acknowledge him. And I love the way that some people, very few people in this world, can go into a goal with all they have.
Yeah.
With all the density in their body, go towards that goal. And he surely can do that.
Yeah.
I just believe that he's taking the wrong path. And I think it will backfire. And I'm looking forward to see how his health develops during the next 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's also this. I mean, there's some of the things I like to see what he does. Because there's some things I'm like, wait, that sounds really good. He also grounds.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
And
he has been testing it at least.
Yeah, and he does, because he found out that's the optimal way to sleep. Wait, that's going into nature. So he is using some of them, but I agree with you, like the way he trains, the way he's scared of sunlight, the way everything is a machine that comes in and gives you red light on a hat, and
Yeah.
I mean, I do it. It's not like we don't do it. We also do it, but
we use it as a supplement, not as a replacement.
Yeah.
And he does it the opposite way.
Yeah, we do it here because there's literally no sunlight now.
What do we do?
Go in front of the light therapy. At least I do, because there's you don't get enough outside right now, and so you kind of have to find a way to and I mean, yeah.
I just bought a UV lamp just to change the subject.
Okay.
So now I have the infrared, but I also have the UV, which is like 70% of what the sun has. Blue light, UV, infrared. The UV is what you get when you go to a solarium.
Yeah.
It's just a side note.
Okay.
I use it to treat skin disorders. It's actually pretty interesting. You don't have any skin disorders, right?
No, I don't think so.
No. I've suffered from it from when I was born. And I literally tried everything. Of course, the doctors only wanted to give me medication.
Yeah.
Try this, try this, try this. And of course, the medication holds it down. But when you stop taking the medication, it just flares out again.
What is it?
What is what?
The skin condition.
That is eczema, just regular.
Okay.
So I've been trying so many things out for the last many years. And then when my daughter was born a few years ago, she was born with the exact same issues, which means that it has to be genetically. At least she has to have it genetically from me. However I got it, I don't know. But again, I don't think it's from what's going into me or what I'm exposed to, because I am very detoxed in general from what I eat or what I put on my skin. So I thought, okay, why is this only abundant in the winter months? It was never present during the summer. When April, May came, it just went away. There was nothing. And again, when we reached September, October, November, it started flaring out again.
Interesting. On your hands or what?
On my hands mainly, yeah. You should see my daughter. She has it on the cheeks, on the torso, on the legs. It's terrible, but it's also more an issue for kids.
Yeah.
And most adults will grow out of it. So I thought, okay, what do we have in the summer that we don't have in the winter? We have sunlight. We don't just have sunlight, we have UV light. Because in the winter months here in Denmark and in the Northern Hemisphere in general, we don't have any UV light at all. So could that be the reason why my skin issues completely vanished whenever the sunlight came? And the same happened for my daughter.
Interesting.
So I tried solariums. That was recently. That was last winter. And I did that in the winter months, and everything went away. One session of solarium, everything went away. I was like, I know UV light is not super good for me isolatedly.
Or you thought that it wasn't.
Yeah, but again, it can provoke skin cancer. Of course, you don't want to get a burn, but too much UV light isolatedly, I don't think that's good. But a little isolated UV light, a little solarium once in a while, or local treatment like the one I just bought can be good. So I simply found out what no one was able to tell me in 31 years, that UV light cured eczema, psoriasis, I think it's called, whatever these skin issues are. So I just bought this little UV lamp that you can treat on local issues.
And it's working?
It's working.
Okay.
Something as simple as this. You have no idea how many doctors I've been visiting, and they all just come with this stupid bullshit story again. Try this, try this, try this. This is very dangerous, so only use it for 2 weeks. And I was like, bro, I use it for 2 weeks and then it comes back again. So why should I expose my body to something that is dangerous just for it to come back again?
Yeah.
Find the root cause for me, please.
Yeah. But they don't think that way.
No.
They do not.
They don't. So that's pretty interesting, and I think we should think about trying to develop some UV infrared thing
that would mimic the sunlight.
Yeah, exactly. So you have both, because I can see a lot of products with UV isolatedly and infrared. But what if you make I think this is a huge project.
What is the last one? You say it's 70%.
Yeah, there's also a lot of blue lights. Blue light has nothing to do therapeutically on your body. UV and infrared does. Blue light is just like the visible light that's kind of the same that you get from artificial sources. That's just a way of making the sky bright.
But I was actually thinking, what if, like you just said right now, what if you make actual lamps, like lamps that's just in your house, that has a little bit, and it just bounces
of
around.
Everything, yeah. But then you would get a tan.
Yeah.
If you're exposed to
It'd be
UV
like
light.
outside, and then you make the floor completely grounded.
Yeah, that would be insane, but
that'd be perfect.
That is paradise, basically.
It's not that difficult, man.
No, it is not.
It's not even that fucking difficult.
It's not that difficult.
There's a little product development. It's I mean,
you can basically make a blanket that you put on your floor that's grounded.
I was thinking about doing that.
Lamps.
I was thinking about doing that on a fucking weekend. It's not that difficult. It's just buying a blanket and putting in copper fibers. You can just buy a wire in whatever.
And
Sylvan.
Speaking of off-grid, this is really something that I think about all the time. How can I optimize where I live in terms of circadian biology, how the human body works?
But that would be amazing, especially if you could make it in a way so that the lamp goes on a timer, so that.
Okay, so when the sun rises, it's very rich, so it's abundant in infrared. Mm-hmm. Then you get
UV.
more and more UV, more and more blue, so the light gets colder and colder. I think there has been designed some lamps for that, not with the UV and not with the infrared, but just like the color spectrum. Mm-hmm. So I actually have one myself. So
yeah, but those are just colors. I was thinking about
those are just colors.
But if you could make it so that you will wake up and it would change like the sun, and then you would be walking on grounding material so that you wouldn't, I think that's also maybe the problem is that, you get skin probably because of grounding. Because when you take in all of this radiation, but you walk around with rubber sandals.
For sure. That's what Jakob said as well, which makes super sense, that if you aren't grounded, if you doesn't do cold exposure, if you aren't in nature, then your skin is more prone to getting burned.
Makes sense,
so
right?
That's why when you're more in nature, the melanin inside your skin is more equipped.
Yeah. It really does make sense, because it's basically radiation, which is the same and electromagnetic fields and shit. It's basically those things. And if you are not grounded, you will accumulate those.
But I think this is only an issue for us in the northern hemisphere. I think the closer you live to equator, the less you need to think about ground and equipment, sunlight replacement, and all that stuff, because you can just walk outside every day, no matter what time of the day, and you can do it. But us up here,
But even there, man, because when you think of it, you think, oh, they live like they lived in like the old Roman Empire or some shit.
Yeah.
They don't, man.
No, for sure.
They go into an air-conditioned room. If you go to Malaysia, they don't live better than we do.
No.
They sit inside with the
But they have the opportunities, and that's just what I mean, that the only thing why we talk about this is because of the environment that we live in.
Yeah.
Last week I saw the sunset at 15 minutes past 3. That was the sunset, and we're only in November. Think about 21st of December, the shortest day of the year. I think the sun sets at 2:30 or something.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
It is.
We're not coped to live in that environment.
No, I don't think it's... But that's also... If we got these installments and we do those things, I mean, embrace the code, grounding, boom. And some of it, the code is easy. Yes. The grounding, a little bit more difficult, can be done. Because people think, oh, grounding, then I need a mouse mat and a blanket. You can do whatever. It's not even that difficult.
Or you can buy it.
You can buy it, but even the stuff you can buy, it's so not even creative.
Yeah.
It's still from a fucking factory in China that has some products where someone was like, hey, let's do that. It's not been developed. You can make your own things that's 10 times better than that.
Yeah.
Like and way cheaper. It's not that it has to be cheap. You can buy it, but like you said, you bought some stiff ass mat that you can put, like, you don't even want to sleep on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that bad.
It's terrible.
Even though it gave you health benefits, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because it's not fully developed yet. And the same with these lamps. We run around and think, oh, we just need light. But now we need is not only light. Now we need is light that is not hurting us, but on the other way around, it's helping us if we stay indoor.
Exactly.
Yeah. But maybe Bryan Johnson will develop those. You should.
I really want to speak to him, because I'm in such disagreement with so much of what he does. So I really want to hear his own thoughts about it. And I want to hear his thoughts about, why don't you want to die? Why don't you believe that there is a higher meaning of life?
Yeah.
Which makes the idea of death so scary to you.
And also what drives him, you know?
Yeah.
Because when I see him, we were talking about Elon Musk earlier, I feel like there's a little bit of the same thing in those two, you know? They just have, that's where I'm going, and I don't give a fuck what you think.
And that's why they're both rich.
Yeah, and why they're both successful, and why they're both, because Elon Musk, like and that's the reason why I'm not criticizing as much, is people like that. They tend to be criticized and not give a shit the first 5-10 years. And then after that, look at Elon Musk now. Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying same thing is gonna happen with Bryan Johnson, but I think there's a pretty good chance that he might be right on the majority of the things he does. And maybe not everything, but I think there's a chance. I'm not saying I believe, and I agree with all the things you say as well, but I still think there's a chance.
I just say that we have to get him on the show before he dies. That's my point of view.
We're in a rush then. No.
All right, 2 hours, bro.
Yeah.
And we only got 5 questions. Sorry, guys.
That's another one coming up then.
we will make a part 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you and ciao.
Yeah.